Hello, welcome back to the channel, and before I get started on this video of ranking the Eastern Conference, I'd just like to say if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Alright, let's jump into it. So, let's see, I'm gonna start from the bottom and work my way to the top. So I'm gonna start with the 15th seed. So I think the Pacers will be last in the East, and I don't really know what they're doing, and I think they might trade some of their better players for draft assets or like younger players that are projects at some point during the season. Players like Miles Turner, for example, that's one. I know he's been in trade rumors for years, and he still has not been traded. I think they have Buddy Hield now too, right? He got traded with Tyrese, I think. I need to check that. Yeah, Buddy Hield's with the Pacers too now, so like that's another player they could trade for draft assets, and he's been rumored in like other trade talks before he was sent to the Pacers. So I mean, they got Tyrese Halliburton, who I think is a really nice player, but I don't think they have a whole lot of much else. So I'm putting them at 15, and at 14 I have the Orlando Magic. They're still rebuilding. They're young. They have a bunch of good young players, I think. I just think they still need more time. And I think maybe down the line, like a few years, like they won't be bottom of the East anymore. I don't know about top of the East, but I don't think they'll be as bad as they are now. Like I think they're on the come up in the next few seasons. At number 13, I have the Pistons. I really liked the draft for the Pistons at the time, if I recall correctly. I remember thinking the Pistons did a pretty good job. So I'm thinking their future is looking pretty good. I just think they need, like the Magic, they need more time. Wizards, I have them 12th. I have the 12th spot going to the Wizards, mainly because of Bradley Beal. Also, they have Kyle Kuzma, but really if they didn't have Beal, they'd probably be 14th or 15th. And that's the main reason. Wait, isn't Beal out for like a season? Alright, so Bradley Beal was injured at the end of last season, and that's what I was thinking of. But I'm pretty sure he'll be playing this season, so yeah, they're going to be 12th. I don't think they'll finish higher than that. They might finish lower than 12th. Who knows? Alright, number 11, I have the Hornets. And it's mainly just because of LaMelo that they're going to be that high. I think they got kind of worse during the offseason. They don't really have Miles Bridges anymore, which is a good thing, but he was definitely one of their better players, and they don't have him. And I think their main thing in the offseason was they signed Cody Zeller or something like that. So LaMelo might continue to get better, but I still think that they're not going to be a playoff team. But maybe if they do something in this upcoming offseason, maybe they could make the playoffs. Number 10, I have the Knicks. They might sneak into the playoffs, but I don't see it. I know they have the mid three of Brunson, RJ Barrett, and Julius Randle, but I don't think, other than that, I don't think they have much else. And I wouldn't, none of those three players are stars. I mean, RJ Barrett's nice, but he's still really young. So I don't know, it's kind of tough to see where the Knicks are going to end up, but I don't think they'll make the playoffs. Number 9, I have the Hawks. Now, I know they got DeJounte Murray and they got better, but I still think the other teams in the East are better. I mean, this is one of the teams that I could see surprising me a little bit, but I just don't see it at the same time, so that's why I placed them at 9. I think they finished around there last year too. And I mean, they got DeJounte Murray, which will help with their defense and their backcourt, but I think they just have a lot of other issues that they still need to fix. Number 8, I have the Bulls. I would have had them higher, but they're not gonna have Lonzo for a little bit to start the season. And this is another one of those teams where I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if this team finished higher once Lonzo comes back, but I think they're gonna really I think they're really gonna miss him. So I think they'll end up finishing 8th. but I would not be surprised if they finished higher because of DeRozan's play or Levine or just the rest of the team, because they have some nice players. Number 7. Now this is really hard to rank, but I have the Nets. I have the Nets 7th, and it's just because they are so hard to rank, because they were both KD and Kyrie were both wanting out of Brooklyn, and now they're staying. So if they both play and are like completely engaged, like the Nets could end in the top 4. But if KD and Kyrie miss a lot of time like they have been, they would probably finish around the same as last year, which was like, I think they were the 8th seed or the 7th seed, something like that. So I'm putting the Nets kind of right around where they were last season because of all the drama. But if they're like locked in, they'll be a really good team. Number 6, I have the Raptors. I think the Raptors are a team a lot of people are sleeping on. I think they're definitely going to be a playoff team. They have the reigning Rookie of the Year in Scotty Barnes, even though I think it maybe should have gone to Evan Mobley. But they have the reigning Rookie of the Year. They still have Van Vliet. They still have OG Anunoby. They still have Pascal Siakam. Like, they still have like a very solid team. Not one that's going to like jump out at you, but I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Raptors, and I think that they will still be a playoff team. So I have them at 6. At number 5, I have the Miami Heat. Now, I know they were the 1st seed last year, but I think the rest of the teams above them just got better during the offseason. And I think the Heat got a little worse. And now I still think the Heat are a really good team. Like, they're still a team that could obviously make the Eastern Conference Finals. Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to really think about it. But they're definitely not like a team you want to mess around with. They're still a really good team. I just think the other teams got better. So I think that's why they're falling from 1st last season to 5th this season. Number 4, I'm putting this as kind of like my overachieving team a little bit, the Cavs. I'm putting the Cavs at number 4 because they had a surprisingly good season last year. They would have been a higher seed if Ricky Rubio wouldn't have gotten injured and they wouldn't have had some other injuries. Like, they were on track to have like a really, really good season, and just like they surprised everyone last year, but they could have surprised everyone a lot more if the injuries wouldn't have happened. But they had that surprisingly good season last year, and then they also got better during the offseason. They managed to trade for Donovan Mitchell without really giving up any of their young players. And they still have, Kevin Love as the 6th man, who was a contender for 6th man of the year last season. And then, they had the off season, and their young players are going to come back into this season with a lot more experience than last season, so that will help them out too. So their young players are getting better. They got better as a team overall, and they're already building off a season where they overachieved. So I think that's why I have them at number 4. Number 3. Okay, so 1 through 3 is like really hard for me to rank, but the whole 1 through 8 was really hard to rank. Maybe 1 through 10. It's just like the East is just really tough, and it's really good this year. But number 3, I have the Bucks. Same team as last year, pretty much. They're still really good. They have Giannis, but I think just the other move that the other 2 teams made that are above them, I think for the regular season at least, those 2 teams will finish above the Bucks. Now, I don't know what will happen in the playoffs, but yeah, I have the Bucks at number 3. I think Giannis and the rest of the team finished 3rd, but I think 1 and 2 I think they got better, and I think they just have a little bit more momentum with them coming into this season, so that's why I have them at 3. Number 2, I have the Sixers. Main thing is they have an off season to let everyone get healthy. Embiid was injured in the playoffs. James Harden didn't look like he was 100%, but now they've had an off season to kind of get everyone healthy. There's all these reports out there that James Harden is in the best shape of his life now. Maybe not the best shape of his life, but he's in really good shape again. And he's been like training hard over the summer, and Embiid's going to be healthy, and Embiid has really gotten himself in really good shape over the last few seasons. So yeah, everyone will be healthy. And then they also had one of the more successful off seasons, picking up PJ Tucker, Montrezl Harrell, Daniel House, Like, those pickups are really just going to benefit their team, especially in the regular season, because, like, especially like the Montrezl Harrell signing, because in the regular season you can probably play him a lot more than in the playoffs, and so Embiid will get a lot more rest, and just I think the Sixers will finish second. Now, number 1, I have the Boston Celtics. They're the defending Eastern champs. They managed to turn last season around, because I remember at the start of last season, kind of a little bit towards the middle, I want to say, of last season, they weren't doing that good, and then they managed to turn it around and just be one of the top teams in the East, and then eventually went to the finals. So I think because of that, like, they were already coming into this season going to be like one of the top 3 teams in the East, maybe top 3 or 4 teams in the East. But then they went ahead and they added Malcolm Brogdon, who I think is a really good pickup for them. So I could see them winning the East standings and ending as the number 1 seed in the East. So to recap, I have Celtics at 1, Sixers at 2, Bucks at 3, Cavs at 4, Heat at 5, Raptors at 6, Nets at 7, Bulls at 8, Hawks at 9, Knicks at 10, Hornets at 11, Wizards at 12, Pistons at 13, Magic at 14, and Pacers at 15. And that's my complete list for the standings in the Eastern Conference. I would not be surprised if I get this wrong, because this was really hard to rank. But we're going to see how it goes. These are still really early predictions, like probably way too early. I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, comment down below what's your thoughts. Comment down below your rankings. I want to know what other people have as their predictions for the East. And yeah, subscribe to the channel for more content. Peace.